grateful to understand, grateful to know. I think all pain has the potential to make us kinder, more understanding, more loving, a better listener, less judgmental. I'm grateful for all those gifts, but I'd also do anything to be ignorant of them, I guess.
Yeah. Just on a personal note, just out of the brokenness that I had and the all of the hurt, which was one of the worst episodes that I had ever gone through and have gone through.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of the process of coming to Christ.
I was going to say, I was just reading a devotional this morning about the two greatest catalysts for transformation are prayer and pain. And of the two, pain is the most effective and the most common too. Pain does have a way of changing us, and it can produce very, very beautiful things in us. But man, it's costly.
Yes.
On my new album, I close out the album with a song called "Thank You for Everything," and some days I'm able to be there with that song. Other days I pray that I can get there, But it's a song recognizing that some of the hardest things we go through in time, we'll look back and be very grateful, at least for what they made of us. Yes. I had a friend who said, everybody says that they want to be like Jesus. But if you want to be like Jesus, you need to pray for enemies. Because one of the most remarkable things about Jesus was that he loved his enemies. And you're not going to learn how to love your enemies unless you have enemies,
Mm-hmm.
And that's true of other things too. You aren't going to learn how to forgive unless somebody hurts you. You're not going to learn how to be courageous unless there's something that you are terrified of and you still have to act, And so these difficult things that we go through, they become great teachers in our lives, and they teach us some of the most important things that we couldn't learn otherwise, So there is a sense of gratitude over beautiful things that have risen from the ashes.
Talking about some of the other songs on the album, one thing that struck me was some of the songs are very upbeat, very the tunes are even catchy, and but yet they deal with things like fear and worry. Was that sort of dichotomy intentional, a way of saying, yes, these things can be bad, but have hope, just through doing that sort of dichotomy? Was that intentional?
Yeah. I think a lot of the time we want to be happy, and we have difficulty navigating our own pain. And so sometimes our answer to all of that is, okay, I'm not going to talk about the bad things. I'm just going to be positive,
Yeah.
And I don't think that is helpful. I don't think it leads to authentic joy. I don't think we can get to authentic joy through denial,
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like my songs to reflect a hopefulness that isn't afraid to look at reality, I think that's the only place where we can experience real hope, So I wanted to write hopeful songs, but that are still in the context of, man, hard things happen, but the end is not the end, and there's still hope. And I also remember an interview with Paul Simon, who's my hero. He's just the best American songwriter. And somebody asked him, about his lyrics. He said, nobody writes lyrics like you do, especially that you would hear on pop radio. So how do you get away with that?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I've found that if you make music that people can dance to, you can say whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to make a really upbeat record and say some deeply truthful things.
Mm-hmm. I think you did that.
I'm good. I hope so.
I think you did that for sure. So I understand that the new album, Where the Light Gets In, will be released June 17th.
Yeah. Yep.
Are you going on tour or doing other sort of promotional events around that?
Yeah, I'm doing a release tour with the JJ Weeks band. They are new to my label, and I've gotten to hang out with them a couple times, and they're so great. They're so great, and they're going to be my band. And their own songs are just awesome, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, they have
good guys.
One thing I would like to get into, I'm trying to ask different people that I talk to, whether they're a musician or an author or an actor, something about them that people may not realize. Whether it's like, what do you like to do to blow off steam, or what is your favorite thing when you're not actually working?
My favorite thing to do when I'm not working, people have just told me how surprised that they are by the difference between me hanging out in the living room and me on the stage. I'm still me and authentically me in all of that, but I think probably from the stage you might imagine that I'm an extrovert and I'm kind of outgoing and stuff like that. When I'm off the stage, I'm pretty quiet.
Yeah,
I'm shy. I actually don't like attention. So the stage is a weird place in a way. Because everybody's attention is on me. So I like to do things where I can be kind of quiet and anonymous. I started working out a lot, so I enjoy that. I enjoy movies. I've been a voracious reader over the years. Love reading. But I've come to about 3 years ago, I began to feel like I couldn't read anymore. Like I would read the same paragraph over and over again, and my brain couldn't hold on to it, and I learned that that is often a side effect of depression, and in the midst of the last dying days of my marriage, I lost a capacity for reading, and I'm very much hoping that heals, and then I'll be able to begin reading again, because that used to be my favorite thing. So,
what was, when you were reading, what was one of the books that you enjoyed the most, like a fiction book, or is there like something else that impacted you really in a big way?
Yeah. In my work, I'm always trying to connect the head and the heart. I can be very analytical, and that's a gift in some ways, but it's also my curse, So my reading looked like I would read a theological book or some kind of informational book, a nonfiction, and and after that, I'd read a novel. So I'd go back and forth. And so in the first book, I would gain new ideas and new concepts. And then as I would read a novel, my brain would kind of be tuned in where I would recognize how these concepts I just learned about, oh, wow, they play out in human stories like this, And so there was something about that connected my head and my heart, and so I'd go back and forth. My favorite author is an author named Frederick Buechner, and he is a novelist and a theologian. So that was great because I'd read his theological books, and then I'd read one of his novels, and so great,
Frederick Buechner.
Yeah, spelled Buechner.
Okay, I'll check that out sometime. I'm always looking for a good read both ways.
Buechner is my I've gone through some experiences in my life where it was painful enough that it kind of turned my whole world upside down. And in those moments, it would feel like everything that I had believed it didn't work anymore, and I needed new understanding and stuff. And I remember the first time that happened, I just I came through it, and I couldn't make sense of my own faith in the way that I would hear people talk about Christianity. I was like, that doesn't ring true with my experience, and I just don't know if I can hang with that, And then I discovered Buechner, and God brought Buechner into my life, and I read him, and I was like, okay, here's a faith that I can hang with, that acknowledges beauty and ambiguity and faith and fear and all that stuff. So he's very authentic.
Well, Jason, I could keep doing this for a while. I've really enjoyed speaking with you, and you have an amazing testimony. But I know that you have so much going on today, so I will.
Make the next call, I guess. Well, thank you for talking with me.
Thank you, and God bless.
That's all the time for today. I'll have interviews soon with Quinn Alexis, a young actress who will appear this August in the indie film Remember the Goal by Dave Cristiano. I spent a little time behind the set last year and was impressed with the movie's treatment of girls cross-country running. I will also have an interview with up-and-coming Christian duo Love Displayed and talk about how their music is only part of their ministry. I'm closing the podcast today with a clip of another one of Jason's new songs from the album Where the Light Gets In. This song is titled Sparrows, and it talks about how we should not worry because God cares for each of us, even the sparrows. That is a lesson that I could certainly learn better. Oh, and I am using clips of Jason's music with his direct permission. Thanks for listening.